All right, it is 7 o'clock, so let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. And if we can get a roll call, please.
Maria Ryan,
Here.
Bart Bartels,
Here.
Morgan Johnston,
Here.
Todd Rusk, Andrew Stump,
Here.
Rachel Valenga, Stephen Wald.
All right, not just a quorum, but a full house. Next, are there any changes to the agenda?
I have a suggestion. What if we move Pester Power forward? Are they all available to move forward?
I think so. Is everybody here for Pester Power if we have that be our first item on the agenda?
Susan left because she may or may not have forgotten some of the props.
Okay.
But she should be arriving, I think, at some point in time.
Okay.
Then never mind.
All right. Any other changes to the agenda? Okay, great. Then let's take a look at the minutes from our last meeting. And let's go ahead and get a motion on the floor and then take any changes after that. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Great. Any discussion, any changes? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those are approved. Let's move to public input. Are there any members of the public who wish to address us this evening? All right. And let's move to our communications and our monthly staff report.
Good evening. Before I get into what was prepared, since the staff report was posted, I'm pleased to share with you all that the Climate Action Plan Phase 2 was approved by Council last night. So that is officially adopted as our plan for the next 5 years. So congratulations to you all for that. I have, along with...
And you too, Scott.
Sure. To follow the same theme, I put in your packet what is, I suppose, kind of a concluding tracking document. I've been using this to keep track of all of our activities in the first phase of the Climate Action Plan. And I'm going to have a similar document. I'm probably going to do it just one sheet rather than multiple sheets for each goal section. But I'll have a similar document for Phase 2 of the Climate Action Plan, and I will keep track of our progress that way. And so if you're ever curious about getting into the details for the second phase in the next 5 years, just know that there will be a document like this that I'll be keeping, and feel free to ask for it anytime. Also, if you have any questions tonight about particular items in the tracking document from the first phase, feel free to bring them up. A quick announcement, we do have one more week of curbside leaf collection for the city. This will be the last week for fall, and then we'll have collection again in the spring. So those last bit of leaves that were covered up by the snow, you still have one chance to get them out and get them collected. Wanted to share in the staff report some activities that the U-Cycle program has been conducting. Every year we participate in America Recycles Day activities. Courtney, the recycling coordinator, usually works with the park district on some activities that engage youth in recycling, and so we're building that practice and expectation in our community of recycling. We have the 2015 SAC schedule in the staff report tonight. That is something that needs to be voted on and approved by council per the Open Meetings Act. So I think, Maria, you had pointed out one of the dates was incorrect. Is that right? Is it 6/13? Let's see. June. So June 2nd would have been the normally scheduled day. There were a couple of days that were not on the first the first Tuesday of the month because of conflicts in my schedule. But let me check June. Yeah, I think that must have just been a typing error. I don't see any other obligation for me on June 2nd. So we may want to entertain a motion tonight to accept the schedule as amended with June 2nd. And of course, this doesn't put it in stone. We can change these dates later on, but we just have to have a published schedule for the year.
All right. Any questions or comments for Scott? No. All right. Thank you.
And does someone want to make a motion to?
I'll move to approve that schedule with amendment to instead of June 13th, June 2nd.
Okay. Did we want to, just because the agenda item for approving the schedule is a little bit farther down, do we want to go ahead
sorry.
and move that up to? We'll just, yeah. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Because then that'll give a little more time for the props to arrive. So, if there are no objections, we'll just bump down to the new business. And is there a second?
I'll second.
And all those in favor of approving the schedule of meetings for the upcoming year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, great. And we've got, we don't have any continuing business. And so I don't know if, because now the only agenda item that's left at this point is the presentation. Is it? All right. You're on.
Mark, you want to give us an update of what's been going on and where we're at on Pastor Power?
Attempt to do that, yes. So my name is Mark Enslin, and I work with Susan Parenti in the School for Designing a Society, which is an alternative school on that focuses on the arts and community activism. And a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago, we proposed to do a theater collaboration in which we would write pieces and make a program that would deal with several themes and try to find connections between them. And one was global climate change, and the other was racial climate, and then there was also a sub-theme of the need for experiment in the arts. And so we took on these big themes, and we got a group of, something like 8 to 10 people together, and we spent almost a year writing. And we came up with 4 hours of material, and somewhere along the way, Cope Cumpston, who was among that group, suggested, we should, in order to make this understandable and focus us in our writing, we should make a children's program. And those themes are rather daunting for anyone, and then to, in addition, have this constraint of making a children's program seemed a little absurd. But we did generate quite a bit of material that was for adults and some for children, and we, at the end of that process, did a showing for participants in this other Urbana program called Out of the Mouths of Babes. And so we tried out some of these things. And then in the month or two after that, Susan Parenti took that material and turned it into this play, which is about 25 minutes long, called Pastor Power. And it uses some of the scenes that she wrote and some components that other people wrote. In her scenes, there were some parts for children. And so we thought, who do we know that has some children that could that would want to perform? And so contacted Saba Manetti Tesfaye and Sage Johnson, and they were the first ones. And so we started to rehearse with them, and there were parts for adults and children. And then Saba and Sage insisted that the whole play should be performed by children. And so all the adult roles should also be done by children as well. And so that started a process of finding the current cast, which you will see soon. And then along the way, Saba actually should really be telling this story. She heard about a grant. Maybe this was at school? Was it? Why don't you come up to the microphone?
I was looking for a current event at school, and I came upon this article on the Georgetown Energy Prize thing, and I thought it was really cool, and I was wondering how we could get Urbana involved in it. So then I went to Danielle.
Danielle Chenoweth.
Yeah, and she got everybody started on it. She emailed everybody really quickly and talked to everybody, and everybody heard about it in a short amount of time. And then I thought that maybe the Pastor Power skit could also be involved. So then that became part of it, and now we're in the semifinals of the Georgetown Energy Prize project, and we'll see what happens with that.
As we would meet at Danielle's house for pancakes on Sunday mornings, some of us, and Scott was also there, and Todd. And as we were brainstorming, we were trying to think of where we should perform this, and our group has done house theaters before, and we thought that might be a good venue for doing this show, in which the concept was that someone would host a performance in their home and invite neighbors and friends, and sort of a house party. And the performance was supposed to inspire them to share ideas about how they could make their homes more energy efficient in order to reduce the carbon footprint, and also to engage in discussions about what they might do to improve the racial climate as well. So we've done several performances of this, which you will see very shortly, and have tried out in the homes, and there have been a few groups who have continued to meet as a consequence, which was the model that we were working on. I'm part of one of them, and we've actually come up with ideas for what we can do, and are continuing to work on this. And so we hope to do more performances, whether the grant happens or not, and to see whether this model is workable as a way to promote ideas of sustainability. So I think what we'll do is set up here. We'll move some of this stuff off, and thank you.
Great, thank you. And I think that's great that the Georgetown has come as far as it has. It's great.
As they're setting up, I'll remind Commission that what they're going to perform tonight is an example of what they're performing to kick off house parties for the Pastor Power climate teams. And this is sort of the motivation behind neighbors getting together in a climate team to meet 3, 4, 5 times, hopefully in a short duration, and to work on the two climate challenges that the folks have described, the first being the environmental climate and the second being the racial climate. With the environmental climate, we have a ready-made template called the Low Carbon Diet, and it's a short workbook that takes small neighborhood groups, 5 to 8 households, through a 4-meeting process where they are guided to identify different ways to improve energy efficiency and reduce greenhouse gas pollution in their own lives, at their houses and their cars, so forth. And they set their own goals, meet again, check in with each other's goals, meet again, check in with each other's progress, meet again, and celebrate each other's successes. And this has been piloted in a number of cities. I don't think any city in the Midwest has followed this particular book yet. But we're doing a couple of pilots, and we're innovating some adaptations to it, the performance being one of those adaptations.
Mother Justice are very sick.
Blackout?
Would you like to present
A 25-minute performance.
about two mothers, Mother Nature?
And Mother Justice.
It's performed by us kids, mostly.
And it's performed for you adults, mostly.
We'd like to set the stage.
While they're getting ready, I'm wondering, how do you feel about the winter weather of last year? Was that global warming? If not, what was it? What do you think?
I think it was very expensive.
Yes, but from an emotional standpoint, how do you feel?
Yes, it was global warming and it was scary.
Yes, I agree. There are many aspects that worry me about global warming.
What about you?
I agree. Yes, about global warming.
I believe global warming, but I don't know if last winter was because I hope it doesn't happen again.
What about you?
I think it was. I think it was the changing wind patterns that are coming about because of that climate change. And it was really hard. It was a hard winter, both physically and emotionally.
Beg your pardon. If we may, friend, let us introduce ourselves. We're collectors of emotions. We're dealers in feelings.
And we've been hearing a lot of feelings expressed in this conversation today. Feelings.
Did you know that some of the feelings you express may be antique and worth a lot? Or they may be obsolete and worth nothing?
Madam, have you ever had your feelings appraised for their value?
Sir, have you ever considered that some of the feelings you express may be extinct, as if dead forever?
My friends, are you thunderstruck? Dumbfounded that feelings could be antique or obsolete? Thunderstruck? Dumbfounded? And who feels these emotions today?
Those emotions are extinct!
Let's look at the historical timeline of motions. Ah, what have we here? Obsolete emotions from the past.
Did you know, for those of you who are visual learners, we'll demonstrate how these dead emotions look.
Obsolete emotions from the 1940s. I feel in fine fettle. What does that look like?
Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.
Obviously obsolete.
And see,
I feel full of get up and go. I feel full of beans. I feel honky-dory.
huh?
I feel like $1 million.
Dead emotions from the 1950s. I feel like I have ants in my pants. I feel blithe.
What?
Blithe. It's like you feel bliss, don't you say it? As if you have a speech impediment. I feel blithe. Okay, I feel keen.
Emotions from the 1960s. I feel like, wow, man.
Huh?
Just do it. I feel like we're all one. I feel feminist.
Huh?
You wouldn't understand. I feel outraged.
That's obsolete.
I guess so.
All these emotions from alternate time periods of obsolete. I feel pensive. I feel placid. I feel perky.
I feel buoyant. I feel bucked up.
Keen.
Cocoon.
Timid.
Insouciant.
What?
Well, I feel impatient. To get back to our discussion. Impatient. Is that an obsolete emotion? But how could the intense cold of this last year's winter be a sign of global warming?
Well, I'm a scientist. Of course, I can explain why. The amount of carbon we punch into the air is heating the air very quickly. Now the North and the South poles are heating up.
Ma'am?
And in general, the climate is destabilizing with extremes of heat and cold. What we experienced last winter was an example. Unless we change something very soon.
Ma'am, I have a question.
We are going to experience extreme weather temperatures, rising of the sea levels, both droughts and floodings.
Ma'am!
An increase of hurricanes and tornadoes.
Ma'am!
Yes.
Do you mean to say that these things are going to happen in my lifetime?
Unless a lot changes very soon. Yes, I'm sorry to say.
They will? My lifetime? Oh no. Phooey. Oh fudge. Darn it, that's terrible. No way, fiddlesticks, fuddlesticks, oh my gosh. Phooey. Oh fudge. Darn it. That's terrible. No way, fiddlesticks, fuddlesticks, oh my gosh. I'm a kid. I'm just a kid. I don't control much. I don't have much clout. Clout. Strange word. What's clout? Having a clue what to do and you have the power to figure your way out. That's clout. Here are my parents. Well, puppets, my parents. My parents are much bigger than me. They tower over me. They control me. They have clout. They may have keys to cars, but I have my bike, my feet, a skateboard, and public transport. They may have access to money, but I can also do small jobs for small fees. I'm also cute. That's kind of a currency, albeit an alternative one. And what's more, not being unduly burdened by fiduciary considerations, I can see clearly. And what I see is that as a kid, I have Pester Power!
The Pester Power song. Mom.
Dad, didn't you promise?
Teacher, you said you would do blah blah blah. We haven't done and blah blah blah. Because you said it was important.
Aunt Mary, you said it was really important that we would
Dad, you promised we would.
City council, we have it
Mayor
in
Presley,
writing.
you told us.
Mom, when?
Dad, when?
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 The Pester Power song. What?
It's already been 2 hours.
Waiting.
I'm not drove their cars less and walked more, we could slow down climate change and live a healthy life, right? I'm talking to you. And you. Let's see what Pastor Power can do.
Saba, come on, let's go. We're gonna be late for that meeting at your school.
Let's walk.
Walk? What do you mean, walk?
Step, step, step.
No, we can't walk. We don't have time.
That washing machine, wasn't it supposed to save you a lot of time?
I used that time up a few years ago.
And the dishwasher and the dryer, hours and hours of time gained.
Only if I'd been washing my clothes by hand by the Ganges River would I have saved time. Look, there's not enough time.
Did the yellow jelly frog a day before it became extinct?
There just isn't enough.
The white Siberian wolf a day before it became extinct?
Frequently heard things at home. Honey, I'll just run over to the store and pick up some.
Problem is, she doesn't run. She drives car.
Darling, could you go over to Walgreens and...
She doesn't go over. She drives car.
Fact. Okay, if you must drive a car, then why not carpool? Instead of 5 people, driving 5 cars. 5 people, turn into 1 car. Or 4 people, or 3 or 2, but not just 1 person. Think of all the fuel you'll save. We'll save, the world will save. Right. Talking to you and you. Let's see what Pastor Power can do.
Okay, son, I'm going to work.
Are you driving car?
Of course.
Who are you going with?
No one, yourself.
Driving alone, that's so sad, Dad. And what? Company?
I'm just going to work.
But you could carpool. What? Bet some of your coworkers over there. Car. Cool.
No, I don't have time for that.
What? No time? You're divorced. Sure you have time. What? But you could carpool. Dad? Why don't you carpool? Carpool for me!
No,
Dad, things are rough. Time to get deep with your fellow human beings.
It's too much trouble.
So the man to the armadillo on the day before it became extinct.
It's not worth it.
So the woman to the one-eyed gorilla on the day before it became extinct.
Come on, get in the car. We have to go.
Always car. 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 Mom! Turn around and go back!
Yeah, go back, Mom.
Why? What's going on?
There are 3 cop cars back there, and they're stopping a driver. Who's black? We've got to go back and help her.
No, someone may have a gun.
Said Champagne policeman who shot and killed 15-year-old unarmed Kiwan Carrington as Kiwan tried to enter his house.
Our first duty is to ourselves, to act in self-defense.
Said George Zimmerman after he shot and killed 17-year-old unarmed Trayvon Martin as he was walking home from his store.
Folks, we have 2 climates that are in trouble. The environmental climate and the racial climate. With the environmental climate, we know if we don't do something now, things are going to get much worse later. Same holds with the racial climate. Experts say if we don't get rid of the stand your ground laws now in 2014, there will be a 30% escalation in violence and despair by 2020. Whole city neighborhoods will be patrolled by paramilitary. Middle-class neighborhoods will be gated with security guards.
Ma'am?
Public transportation will cease to be.
Excuse me?
And highways will be constantly policed by hovering helicopters.
Ma'am!
Yes.
Are you saying that these things are going to happen in my lifetime?
Unless a lot changes very soon. I'm sorry to say, yes, they will.
My lifetime? Oh, phooey. Oh, fudge. Darn it, that's terrible. No way, fiddlesticks, oh my god. Phooey. Oh, fudge.
Darn it, that's terrible. No way, fiddlesticks, oh my god.
Ring, ring. Hi. What's up, Dad? Where are you?
I'm just driving around. I'm kind of lost.
Well, you're in Champaign-Urbana, right?
No, not really.
Well, you're in Illinois, right?
I'm not sure.
What state are you in?
Denial.
What? Where's that?
It's north of feeling hunky-dory, and it's west of feeling fine fettle, and it's east of Blythe.
Hunky-dory, fine fettle, Blythe. Dad, those emotions are extinct.
And it's south of, oh wow, kind of closer to, oh no.
But Dad!
And I don't feel like we're all one anymore.
Dad, you need some new emotions. Emotions that will help us solve these problems.
Blackout, last scene.
Mother Nature and Mother Justice are very, very sick.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Well, I'm a doctor.
You are?
Yes.
Is there anything we can do to help them?
Actually, there's a lot we can do to make them healthy again.
There is. Do you really want to help?
Yeah, I do really want to help, but do you really want to help?
Of course I want to help. Do you want to help?
Yes, I really want to help.
Do
You really want to help? Stand up.
Stand up if you really want to help. Really, stand up.
I'm not kidding. That's Milo. For kids, underwear is very important. This is the world's largest pair of underwear.
We're asking all of you to get inside of this very large pair of underwear and
If you
sing
wanna
the
help.
underwear song.
You have already done this many times, but do you want to get inside this? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come on, guys. Come in here. Come on.
Really want to help?
No, we really want to help. Seriously, we're not kidding. We've never been kidding. I'm sorry if you haven't understood everything.
The photo shoot. Sustainability Advisory Commission.
Inside the underwear.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Underwear,
Underwear.
wherever you are, you're in your underwear. Underwear, underwear, wherever you are, you're in your underwear.
Climate change. Climate change.
Climate change.
Climate change.
Wherever you are, you're in your climate change. Racial climate. Racial climate. Wherever you are, you're in your racial climate.
Underwear, underwear, underwear. We all want to change our underwear. Underwear,
Underwear.
underwear,
discuss how we can change the climate change and the racial climate.
Normally at this part of the program that we then have a discussion with the people in the houses and we bring in the low carbon diet, etc. So this is, the program stops and then the people begin their performance as neighborhood residential homeowners.
Can we introduce all the
Let's
performers?
introduce all the performers. Could you guys stand up and let's give them a lot of these, oh, take a bow, that's right. Do you want to say what your names are loudly?
Sophie. I'm Aria Pleasure. I'm Saba Manetti Tesfaye.
I'm Sage.
I'm Lauren Bartles.
What?
Zeta. So maybe they have questions they want to ask you guys, so why don't you get a little closer to them? Or something, I don't know.
There is a question.
Yeah, Morgan.
Okay, I'd like you to explain the underwear song. How did that come about in the creative process?
Well, okay, so it was clear that that moment of do you want to stand up and you really want to help could be kind of considered hokey, and was really aware of that. So at the same time, even trying to get people to stand up in an audience is something, it's an action. So I thought to kind of push the envelope of that action by doing something zany that changes the emotions at that point. And the underwear song is about climate change and racial climate. So we didn't want people to be feeling guilty. Because you see, part of our analysis was that a lot of things that are stopping people acting on climate change and racial climate change is not that they don't know, it's that the feelings are all messed up. So we were trying to get through things through the emotions and say ideas that were unusual so that people could entertain the idea that possibly our emotions belong to a time period that's past and we have to have new emotions for the situation that we're in.
Does anybody else have a question on their mind?
Another question. So I'd like to know, when you get into the conversation after this presentation, how much do the 5 of you students, or children, students, you're all students, right? How much do you get engaged in those conversations? Do you actually get into discussions with the people and help them get past some of their barriers?
I stand up and make people.
Give me some examples.
I don't know, our last performance was at Danielle's house, and we sat down. You all know who Danielle Chenoweth is. We sat down in our living room on a little futon bed, and we talked to the audience, and there were some active members, and it was nice.
Yeah. Normally, though, we prefer to kind of like let the audience discuss, like, because it's kind of.
This is normally just.
Yeah.
And how much do you end up talking about this when you're not actually doing a performance? Does it come up in class or in clubs or social events?
Yeah.
For you guys, you don't bring it up?
Actually, in my class right now, we're doing an entire unit on climate change and global warming and biology, and so a lot of it. Right now, we just finished watching a documentary on how the icebergs were melting, and just right now we've been watching a lot of documentaries on stuff and like having a lot of discussions about climate change. So.
In our school, we never talk about this stuff.
Yeah. I feel that sometimes people when they see uncomfortable subjects or subjects of kind of a binary split, they just kind of hush up. They don't want to take a side. They don't want to be a 1 or a 0. They just want to be kind of in there. They want to be a half.
Yeah. They don't really want to. I mean, I guess some people would like want to avoid confrontation, so they just kind of like, oh yeah,
and
climate change and stuff.
Wait, Salva's been trying to say something. Speak up louder, Salva. To them.
It's kind of outside a lot of people's comfort zones, so they just kind of, when somebody brings it up, they push it outside of the conversation and talk about something else.
Well, I about racial climate with my classmates or with my friends, those who are willing to listen, but most likely it would be taken the wrong way and students would actually get in trouble for it. So, we can't.
I do see a lot of problems around that part of our performance, that sometimes people feel that acknowledging that race and climate change is an issue is an issue within itself, and it should just be entirely ignored. And if you're ignoring it, then it's not happening, right? That I just see that as a problem, and that's what really stops us from bringing up the other half of our performance, the racial half.
And also,
it gets kind of gets procrastinated.
And also, ignoring the idea isn't, or like ignoring climate change, racial climate, and like those kind of things, isn't. It's not like it's going away. It's getting worse if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, if I actually, some people would actually, like, if I was able to talk to people about this, I would talk, and unfortunately we have some people around that would just, instead of just ignoring it, they would like turn it on each other, and then it would get even worse.
Yeah.
And the thing is, principals in schools and teachers and things, they don't really do much about it.
Or many of them personally want to, but don't necessarily feel comfortable with the few people who are pushing back against it. Portray everyone as someone who is against it. I don't know. I feel that a lot of times people have a good heart, but they're too afraid to speak up because they see a few bad hearts that are kind of bleeding. They're bleeding. I don't know. I'm coming up with too many metaphors up here.
You talked about a lot of examples of blockages to conversations that are really important. And so in the play, one proposal is pester power as a response. And so and Susan talked about trying to reach people on an emotional level. And so I'm wondering if you have, with all these the problems that you're thinking about, do you have a response to some of those challenges in having those conversations? And have you had any practice putting your pester power to work outside of off stage?
Well,
Sure.
We do a lot of rehearsals.
I don't think that's exactly what he meant.
But do you pester? Do you use your pestering ability? You guys are great pesters.
Oh yeah, we're great pesters.
But I think Todd's question was, have you been able to pester your parents into turning down the heat, or you guys have pestered me about why I drive the car?
Why do you drive the car?
But that was but have you been able to use pestering in terms of school or people, in terms of these issues?
Well,
wait, let Ariane go ahead.
Well, I think one reason some people wouldn't really be able to talk about how they can change it would probably be because of guilt, because they haven't been able to change it. And I wouldn't really want to put that on somebody, but if it would help like everyone else and the human race survive, I think it'd be really important.
Yeah.
I think like at my house right now, I don't necessarily like need to actually pester my dad to be more sustainable, because he may or may not be on the committee right now. Hi, Dad.
Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate
my parents
that.
are aware of said things. So, but assuming that they weren't, and I was like still involved in the play, I would definitely like if say Dad, drove a Hummer and had the heat on all the time, then I'd just be like, hey, I don't think that we need to do that stuff. I'm good at words.
Do you ever use your dad's position to kind of encourage other people?
I think it's cool, yeah. Like, I guess
I
people
don't
are talking
know.
about sustainability. I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, obviously you at home don't really have as many things to fix. I don't know, but you could fix other things.
And there's also this book called
Low carbon diet.
Yeah, Low Carbon Diet, that a lot of printouts have been made of this book, and it's basically how to take pounds, like
How to lose
yeah.
5,000 pounds of carbon a month or something.
Yeah. That if we would follow the book and have these meetings and do little things in the book that really aren't that hard at all, like reducing the time you take in the shower to 10 minutes, or just putting
Less garbage.
Yeah, the car speed to 55 miles per hour.
And I can vouch, Saba's pestered me about all these things. Mother.
And like reducing the heat on your water.
Furnace, water heater.
Like 1 degree. 5 degrees. Well, we did 5. And like they're really easy things, and if we could just everybody could join in to do these little things, I mean, we could go pretty far. Like we could get a lot better.
Yeah.
Like
and most of these measures are really simple. I mean, they're stuff that costs negative amounts of money. You get paid to do good things.
So Mark, you can say?
Well, I was just going to say that in my part of working on this, I have learned from you all and from the process with Susan's play to approach the problems not from a superior position. And it could be that some people feel like they can't get involved in any discussions that Aria was talking about because they feel like they have to know everything. And this has taught me that we can work on these problems even when we don't actually know the complete solution. We might know steps or work on things. And I've been with some of the meetings at one of the homes with Scott, in which just his presence there was really reassuring and helps me to think about it at other times. That, I don't actually need to use hot water here. And also I think about it when I was in a march earlier today, referring to Ferguson, and I was thinking about Pester Power as well. And so some of this is exploring. And I think the commission maybe, I don't know exactly how you're approaching this, but I'm hoping that this play will encourage everybody in the city to think of what you all are doing as helping all of us to think about what we can do even when we don't know the complete solution.
I guess there might at some points in time, like people don't necessarily like understand that they're supposed to talk about this. Like initially in the play, before I realized that in the line where I was just like, how do you feel about the winter weather, blah, blah, blah. And I would like directly like ask you, and originally I didn't do that. I didn't realize that I was supposed to do that. So I'd just kind of go, how do you feel? And nobody would say anything, and I'd be like, that was not a rhetorical question, and nobody would say anything, and I'd be like, okay, Sage. So
Yes.
You were over there, now you're Sage.
Hi.
Lovely.
Also, I feel that sometimes people, when they feel guilty, they feel that they can't participate, and I feel that that people need to understand that it's not a problem of fault, it's a problem of what's going to inevitably happen. That's just a point I saw, and I've been seeing, not only in this, but everywhere. There's a lot of interactions with it.
Unless maybe they have other things they have to do, so.
Yeah, let's wrap up.
Yeah, wrap it up, or someone, are you going to say? Were you going to say something, or someone was going to say something? Saba?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Okay. Do you have
here all night.
I do want to thank you all for coming here and showing us the play. I mean, it's really remarkably well acted, and thank you so much for contributing your. Well, I know there are a lot of people's talents who went into this, so I think this is a really potentially very powerful tool. It sounds like for getting people involved on that neighborhood level, and who knows, maybe we can start integrating some of the pieces of the climate action plan into it as well, along with that carbon diet, low carbon diet. All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. I think we had already looked at our continuing business and didn't have any before us. So I think our next, we already did our new business, so I think our next item is whether we have any announcements this evening.
I have one announcement. I wanted to share with you all that the Illinois EPA has opened public comment for their Illinois nutrient reduction strategy. This is sort of a high-level document describing how they're proposing to reduce nutrient loading, mostly nitrogen and phosphorus, in stormwater and surface water in the state. So that's available on the Illinois EPA's website.
Is that mostly for farms or for farms and homes?
It's both rural and urban.
Just one event to add, and that is the Illinois Green Office Challenge is continuing, and the topic for the month of December is waste reduction. So there is a workshop on waste reduction a week from Wednesday at 5 o'clock at the Illinois Sustainable Technology Center. So I would encourage anybody to check out the Green Office Challenge website. The activities are on there. The leaderboard is on there. Now you can see what buildings are participating and how they're doing, and check out the activities to see if your building wants to be involved.
Other announcements this evening? All right. Well, seeing no other business before us, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, we're adjourned.